Okay. So what is the hardest thing to be a founder, and especially the whole journey? And sharing here like some of my perspective on this. And of course, everybody go through this in a different journey depending of the sector that you're in and depending of the volume of growth that you have within the company. One of the hardest thing I would say is that you need to understand and adapt to the different stages of being a founder, right? So you are a very different role that when your company is, let's say, 3 people, 10 people, 15 people, 50 people, 100 people, and so on and so forth. And you've got a different set of challenges along each stages, and you need to be able to understand and adopt and not get emotional on the stages that we are in. An example of that is, let's say when you are 10 people or less, right? You are the accountant, you are the salesperson, you are the engineer, you are pretty much the marketing person. You are doing the whole thing, the whole circle, right? At the same time, you are not making money. And along the way, what has been sort of my journey, which has been really critical. So one of the things which I did was, when I used to work as an employee, I made it my mission that I will make enough passive income before I quit. So that has had probably, if I go back, that is the biggest lesson, is that having stable financial income that is not dependent on the company puts you in a very strong position as a founder, because you're then not emotional, right? Company doesn't make money, doesn't matter. And company a lot of time doesn't make money in the early stages. So you're not making emotional decisions because you're not directly impacted by it. So that would be number one. Number two, your timing of when you're becoming a founder. You are becoming a founder at, let's say, 21. It's very different than you becoming a founder at 31. So my advice on that would be to try to hold off as much as possible, because the older you get, the more lesson you're going to have. Yes, you're going to have less tolerance for taking on risks. However, you are going to be more likelihood of success if you're doing it at your 30s versus in your 20s. If we look at the ratio to failures in 20s and 30s, significant difference. And primarily, that's because, as we rightly know, the best founders has been throughout the world that they were really good followers. So if you're a great follower, then you're going to be a very good founder down the line. And that was one of my exceptions. I was a very good follower. If somebody knows something better than me or was leading, I would definitely listen and I would follow really well. And I did that exceptionally well at my early days within IBM, and that has definitely paid back multiple fold. What made me kind of start our own company and what was the motivation behind that? If I think back, and there's obviously, we have a set of things that we're not happy about in an organization. And for me, it was when I used to work as a software engineer in IBM, it used to really upset me to trying to understand how little people are working and the way the diplomatic flow of this organization was. I'm very grateful for the time I've spent there, and it's a fantastically great company. But when you have a company that a security comes to you and says you got to leave the building because it's a Saturday or Sunday that you're working there, or they ask you questions, and a company that tolerates for people to work 3 hours and get paid for 8 hours, that is just making you really comfortable, and that is not a place you want to be at your 20s. It's good if you want to retire, work in a company like that, but definitely not a good place. And it's not just IBM, it's many larger organizations that the productivity significantly reduces when companies get too big. So that was something that I was really not happy about that, and I was like, okay, when we build our company, we will build it in a form of that people are motivated and also not do things in the case of fear. So definitely, that has kind of one of my decisioning. And the next thing is building something that is meaningful, right? And helping others. So for me, I got a really good joy out of building products. I remember one of my early stages, that a product that I built for a friend of mine, and we're not mentioning, and he was basically deploying that product to a very, very large insurance company in Ireland. They will not disclose their name here. And then I built the software for that at that time, and that gave me so much joy. So quickly I realized that, okay, this is what I really like. Now, I was always into computers since very early ages, but definitely that has all of these things. And getting this validation early on is really important. How did my mindset changed after becoming a founder? I would say, very important is that I always did what I was doing today, but I didn't know back then, right? So very importantly is, I used to not know this, but I used to treat IBM as a client in my head. And I didn't know this back then, right? But when I look back, all the things that I did do, this is what the formula I applied. So mindset shift is it's no longer just about you, that's number one. It's no longer just about your income or the small circle. You're thinking way bigger. You are thinking about the people in the company, your clients, and the product, the impact it makes. So I think the vision definitely changes your mindset. And one thing also very important is that when you come in a place where you have, you could do what you want, and so what preventing you from, pivoting away? And I think leading by example is the best way that I found, which is really critical, because if you not do something over fear, you're still going to do it behind closed doors or because of others. But if you are doing it on the pure basis of that you're leading by example, it is just not something that you're going to do. And it's a really great way of getting you, to stay on the path. Something that I wish I knew before starting a company. I wish I hold it a little bit longer, right? I've had 12 companies in total. Multiple of them failed, right? So I think looking back, with the knowledge I have today, I would immediately spot this company that actually would have failed. That was the wrong business partner. That was the wrong division. Today, I get a lot of opportunities where people want to get in business with me, but I just simply don't, because that time is going to take away from something else. I just want to give back to the circle that I have, which is the people in the company and growing the client base and just staying niche on the single thing that we are really good at, So that's something I would say is that, be more careful before you enter something. Don't just jump into it. And in early 20s or, in your 30s, it's very easy to quickly jump into it. And then you start asking more questions as you get more established business owner that, okay, this is going to take away time from something else. Is that really? And that's something that definitely I didn't know, a long time ago. What's a typical day looks like for me? So today, for example, I think I've got 13 meetings in the calendar. Almost 80% of them are development executions and things that we need to progress directly for key projects that I am helping with for our clients and pushing the company within our team here. Before coming here, I was in the gym. I run with my dog. Now I'm in the office, and today I think I've got at least 14 hours work in the bucket. Right, today is a very long because we've got some US things going on this evening. So it's a pretty long day, but I don't look at it as a time, right? So I mentioned in one of my early videos is that, and that is just the lifestyle, right? So I don't work on Saturdays and just try and stay away as much as possible. And then on Sundays I work. So 6 days a week, I've been working that for more than 15 years. So, and I enjoy doing it, right? So that's very important. I'm having fun at the same time. I think that's really important. What are the biggest risks that I've taken as a founder? That's a hard one, right? So, yeah, that's a hard one. Definitely pivoting to multiple countries, where we now have within Dev Center House, we have offices in each country. So each country requires company setup, structure setup, a manager. So that's a lot of risk you're taking early on, right? It comes with a lot of cost. You're not present in those places. So that was a big risk factor. But I definitely full believer in trusting the people that in your circle. And if you don't trust somebody to do something, that just tells you that person needs to be not to be around you. They need to go, right? So that was a big risk too early on in the game, For people in the investment world, especially people that are into buying properties, you also understand they always often is like, that is definitely true, you know, niche in a market, in an area, then in a city, then in another country, right? I remember when I was in the US in Chicago, and I saw this beautiful building. It was a commercial unit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this unit. So then I went off and done that, but then I didn't realize how much other problems that actually was consuming. So then I just thought at the time that if I'm diversifying in many countries, now I've got things portfolio in multiple countries. But if you are a small investor with, let's say, 10 to 50 properties, you shouldn't be investing in 6 countries, in 5 countries. Invest in 1 or 2 countries, right? So that's a lesson that I've learned in the investment world. And I think same thing applies to the company, right? So if you've got a 100 people company being in multiple countries, you know, it might not be such a good idea than being in just 2 countries or 3 countries rather than 5, 6, or 10. What makes our company different? And that's a really important one, right? So where we are different? So we are a software development company. We are a boutique Navy SEAL-like engineering company. And we don't just build software, we bring value to the company all the way. So what do I mean by that? What value means? Well, it means that we build the product, we then make it our life mission for this product to be successful. If this is something that we're selling to B2C, to make sure that this B2C product is going to sell to the end user. If it's a B2B, to make sure it gets sold. I was in one of the tech sessions yesterday, and I made everybody in the team to run through a very simple exercise. I said, okay, the user of this product that we're selling right now for a client, right? Just remember, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a CTO in the company, right? That is my official title, because I am still very much in love with the technical part of the company, so I like to be there. And I also want to do that for our clients. So as a founder, as a CTO, I made them go through an exercise where they need to, the product is shipped, now is live, right? So now every person and the end users who are using this, they're on their phones. They are using this product on their mobile phones. They're not on the computer. So, and I noticed the user experience wasn't as perfectly as I would want it to be. So I said, okay, and there was a small team of 5 people working on this. Your exercise is to do this and follow these like 6, 7 steps on your mobile phones and run it through inside WhatsApp. And then make a video and share it, right? And then share with me what pain points that you found, and if you found any pain points, go fix those points, right? So it's very easy for a software developer to just start building part of an application, but then when they don't think about the whole way through. So how we are different? We think about the whole way. We think about the products that this piece of page that's getting built on this website, or this whole site getting built, or the whole app's getting built. Who is the user using it, and where's the user actually that's using it? Is it going to be on their phones? Is it going to be while they're driving, or while they're going to use this feature while in the toilet, or where they are in? Where's the user in at that point? And understanding that will give us more success to make sure the product is built, designed for the end user in the way the user is using it. So this goes beyond, right? There's just, hey, here's an application that we need to build, go ahead and build it for us. So we're not just building, because we understand as a company that if we build a product and this product is not successful and this product will not sell to the end users, then they will cut development. That's the first thing they do. So we make our company mission to make sure whatever product we touch, that this product is going to make money. And that is what they're guaranteed in getting. And that is where we get. So we do the designing, we do the development, we do the deployment to their AWS stack or whatever environment we're using. Then we bring in marketing, we deploy it for them and then we will just support them on making sure having clients on board. And a lot of the times those clients, they have their own engineering team, they have their own marketing team. So we're just complementing to what they do. So I would say that is where we are, massively different. Do I ever miss being a developer? I absolutely do. And thinking back, I wish I spent more time in that journey. It actually feels like, for most founders, I don't know if, would agree with me, but from my perspective, what I see is that it's a bit like when your time in college, for all of us that were in college, you're in university and everything goes so fast, and looking back at that time was so amazing. And it's kind of the same when you are, working in a job, because you have so much time, right? And you have so little responsibilities. And you think you have a lot of responsibilities, but you don't until you realize on the other side. So enjoying that process and building the best version of yourself. And looking back, while you're working in a company, also building yourself, because you're there anyway, right? Write public articles, make videos, make content, and do it outside working hours. And then eventually that's going to bring back into your working hours, and that is going to bring a lot of value, and it's going to make you be much better as an individual. I did this really well when I was in IBM. I went to a team and I said, okay, I want every piece of software we write, we will go advocate and go deploy this and show this to other developers. I also want to write articles about the software I've written. So I got a permission from my director at the time. And I think I did, in those 5.5 years when I was in IBM, I think I wrote somewhere around 33, 34 blog articles, right? So then that was good. And then later on, I really used that, because the blog article was not on my website, it was on the company website, but it had my name in it. This is author Tuana Daniel. So that was like really powerful. Then when I was like, every time I would talk, I would reference it. So that was a piece of value. Same thing, like I would push some code into GitHub, right? Anything I pushed publicly, I took references of those things. And then there's a lot of stuff that's private, which I cannot use, but at least there was public stuff, which was critical. Same thing for video content. I was on podcasts, I was on events. I was in a conference in the US, in Las Vegas, and there was about 60,000 people on the IBM Think event. And we are on stage speaking with another person, and I was there at the computer. So that was a big thing, right? What is my advice for new founders? It's simple. Be really clear at the problem that you're solving, and be clear on why you're doing this. And don't get too emotional about this, right? You think you're solving a big problem, really you do, right? And that's a really important thing, where understanding the problem, why we're doing this, what's the problem that we're solving, and trying to get paid as quickly as possible. Founders are not doing this enough. Get really quickly getting paid for the product you're building. If you're building a product and if you think you're going to go free, unless you have $50 million to $100 million raised money already, that you're building some social media platform, you need a massive amount of audience, then that's a different story. But if you're building a startup that you are going to be, or a founder with somewhere between 50,000 euros all the way to, let's say, 5 million euros, your primary focus needs to be whatever product you're launching, you need to get people to pay for it. You need that validation really crystal clear.